Jackson Galaxy is here from My Cat from Hell.
Da-da.
Yes. Did you think of the name of that show, by the way?
No. I actually wanted to call the show Cat Daddy. And Animal Planet said, you know what, we really want to appeal to people who aren't cat people. It's people who are just flicking the channel. They say, My Cat from Hell.
It is attention grabbing.
It is, but it scared me. It scared me. It scared me literally because people like you, people that I respect in the animal world, would take a look at it and go, "Oh my God, really? Did you really just do that?" You know,
because it casts potentially this negative image on cats. And if it was anyone but you doing the show, the thing I like best about you doing the show, first of all, it is a show about cats.
Right.
How many of those have there been?
Right.
Zilch until you came along.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is the message you offer, which is you can help cats. Right. And then the third is the way in which you help them. So unlike little bits and pieces we've seen on TV, which talk about dominance and talk about you must do this, and you try to be in charge with the cat, you're not going to go very far anyway. Yes. So I want to talk about your book.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Daddy. Cat Daddy is the name of the book. What the world's most incorrigible cat has taught me about life, love, and coming clean.
Yes.
And this is interesting, this book, because it isn't only about what we watch on Animal Planet and your experiences with cats. It's about you and your experiences with life.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well,
Why did you decide to go that route instead of, okay, you have a cat that scratches, do this, don't do this?
You know, the thing is, and we've talked about this briefly, about how there are prescriptive books out there that have really painted a decent general picture. I am a huge believer in not approaching a cat by that big, broad stroke. I mean, yes, there is the big, broad stroke, the territorial nature, what I call cat mojo, you know, what guides cats through this world. But past there, I think if you don't give them their individuality, you're disrespecting them the same way I would disrespect you if I said, okay, you're a human, you know. And I really just couldn't get my arms around that part of it. But I wanted to tell his story. And I started writing the book as he was dying. I mean, it was in his last couple of weeks of life.
Explain who he is.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Benny. Benny was a cat that came to me when I was working at the Humane Society in Boulder Valley in Boulder, Colorado. And somebody, they dropped him off in one of our carriers at the front, and she started running away, and I caught her. And she said, well, he got hit by a car yesterday. I adopted him from the shelter a year ago, and he got hit by a car yesterday. His pelvis is broken. But you know what? We don't like each other very much anyway. And she described him as unbondable. And I like that.
Can a cat be unbondable?
Of course not. No more than a person. And at that point, I was pretty unbondable myself.
Why?
Addiction, really. I mean, I have at this point, pretty well-documented history with drug and alcohol abuse. And I was deep inside it at that point. And that makes you unbondable. Numbness makes you unbondable to other beings, animal or human.
I've heard of the Betty Ford Center. Yeah. I've not heard of a cat helping someone come out of all of that.
Well, the thing about Benny was that he was such a behavioral challenge his entire 14 years on this planet. He just... Every time I was the cat guy at the shelter, and every time I'd come up with something, I would bring it back to him, and I would try to demonstrate it on him, and he was like thumbing his nose at me, and he was so contrary. He had litter box problems. He had serious aggression problems. If you changed his routine, he'd go on hunger strike, and I mean, like, you know, move the bowl 7 inches. He did things that were so against everything that we had learned, things that would have led me to write a prescriptive book in the first place. And the only way that I could relate to him, the only way I could get inside of him a little bit was to come clean, you know, both figuratively and literally.
And at that point, you were a cat behavior person. I mean, you knew about cats. What year are we talking about, or what years are we talking about?
Well, I started working at the Humane Society, I believe it was in 94. And by 95, everybody was calling me Cat Boy. And I wasn't. I mean, literally, I had cats, but the experience of being around so many of them in a concentrated way triggered this sort of fascination and empathetic response. And I just started learning as much as I could about them and working with them. And yeah, by about 95 is, I think, when Benny came in the picture, I'm pretty sure.
Lots of messages in this book, Cat Daddy. Yeah. One of them is that your life can be changed if you're open to it in the most unexpected way.
Absolutely. I mean, if you make yourself vulnerable, you're asking animals with a history of abuse, neglect, abandonment, you're asking them to trust you. It doesn't work unless you make yourself open and vulnerable to them. It doesn't work. And that is a tall order. And you, by doing that, change your life dramatically. And I don't care if you're doing what I do or what you do, but just on a daily basis at home, your day-to-day life, not having animals in your life is an amazingly huge wasted opportunity to make your life better, just on a personal level, not just relationally.
And now on television, he's making all our lives better for what we learn about cats from Animal Planet's My Cat from Hell. The name of the book, Cat Daddy, Jackson Galaxy. Thank you.
You're totally welcome. Thank you.